talk about, obviously, Alabama and Auburn basketball, but and I don't know where you want to start, but
I want to start real quick, though.
Yeah.
I look down at the bottom of the screen and been trying to do a good job of passing along our segment sponsors out there and letting you know who they are. Our big-time corporate partner on our Sports Blitz programming right now, Sunshine Heating and Air, and I've had a personal dealing with Kevin Kill this week, and we'll be dealing with him quite a bit more next week as we've got a heating and air unit being installed, and Kevin's just a super guy. Loves Dayville, loves the Dayville area, and loves his Dayville Tigers football, and probably the next few years going to be loving it more as his boy gets older and becomes more involved in all of that. So I wanted to throw that out there. Sunshine Heating and Air, we can't thank them enough for being a part of our programming. And Kevin, if you're out there listening, thank you, buddy.
And he does. He listens to us all the time. And, you know, Kevin's an example of really you and I in our community and so many more throughout this state that are passionate about their school. Not just the football team, but the school system. I mean, you'll go to Dayville and you couldn't find a guy anywhere in that community that promotes that school and that school system and its leaders and supports them more than Kevin does. And I know Dayville's got a lot of other supporters, but I'm just using him as an example. And Alex City's blessed too to have tons of people that support this program up here and support our school system. So yeah, you're right. Kevin's a great guy. He runs a great business, and we're very blessed to have his business and a lot of other great businesses that have really been a part of our programming for a long time. And I don't like to start on a Saturday morning with news that disgusts you, but I mean, we'd be with our head in the sand if I didn't talk about this morning and everything that's going on just in the last 48 hours with Michigan State. It's really sad. We have a culture in this country right now, and I don't even understand why people try to hide a evil human being like Larry Nassar was, and the things that he did. And now the football coach D'Antonio's been brought in. Izzo has a press conference late last night. Explaining his deal, and he don't plan to go anywhere. The athletic director's resigned. The president's resigned. It's there more stuff that's coming out. A culture of hiding stuff, hiding reports, and no disciplinary action toward student athletes that have been, and not just student athletes, to other students where females had reported sexual assault and nothing was done about it. Just a long history and culture, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, Randy, for them. And I saw Tony Kornheiser yesterday. He said, and he looked straight in the camera, and he said, if I had a child, he said, there's no way I would send them to that university. That's how damaging this could be to that institution. We know Penn State has recovered from all of the stuff that went on, but there is always that hanging over them. And when you go back to Penn State, you talk about, this is different, man. It is different on another scale. There's still horrible stories, but this right here was a culture of the administration turning a blind eye to people reaching out for help. And they said, we don't really want to help you. We're going to keep it covered up because we want to keep the integrity of our university on the forefront.
All right, let me go a couple of different ways with this.
Yep.
First of all, if there was an issue that you and I had more of a problem with a previous tenure at Auburn University, it was that. And we don't know the full story. And it was somewhat brought out on the softball program,
It was.
Brett, but it quickly got thrown under the rug and we haven't heard anything. So I say that in the university that you and I love and we cover, and we want to be on the up and up. To say that these things happen and why decisions are made by leaders to cover things like this up and not be, I don't know. But I tell you what you have to do is you have to find out who was involved, how much did they know, and if they knew more than they let on and still threw it under the rug, then you have to have a swift consequence to come with that. Penn State did.
They did.
But the issue was they allowed something that was very fishy to go on for decades. And then to hire someone back and to be more involved, after a while, you can't forgive some things. And that's one of those that is hard to forgive. I've got a daughter, you got a daughter.
And it changes the game. Let me
Josh Brewer and I were having lunch when we were watching this implication come down. And it was tough to watch. I don't know if you watched
I saw it. It was awful.
The court proceedings.
No, it was, and the judge really made it clear.
It made, the first thing I looked over at him, I said that, first off, I'm going to be an engaged father.
You better do.
First and foremost. And if something smells fishy or feels fishy, you better first off have an open dialogue with your daughter. It's tough on her. But you clearly, as a man, need to be more of a man role and out front to let people know that it best not happen. It best not in my little realm. And this is in college.
Yeah.
A lot of these poor girls were part of the Olympic squad and the up-and-coming Olympic squad. It had, when you have over 150 girls come out and say something about it, Brett, how is there not a path? Because if 150 came out, there's 150 more that didn't say anything because they didn't want to put themselves through.
That's exactly right. It's almost like walking in a room and you see a roach. And when you see a roach, you know that that's not the only roach in the room. When you see one roach, there's probably 300 in the wall somewhere. Yeah. And that's kind of the rule of thumb. And that's where this goes. And you know, going back to you and I having daughters, and I was told a long time ago, before we had Brindley, that if you do have a daughter one day, that you need to be the kind of man that she would want to marry one day, and that she would that shows, you know, you set the example early, expectations of who she wants to be with the rest of her life. And I think that shows you here, those that unfortunately don't have that figure or somebody that wasn't close to them, sometimes they look, and psychological reports will show that people try to look for attention, or they try to look for that dominating figure, that somebody that's going to be the leader in their life, so to say. And everybody's family is not the same, and everybody didn't have that opportunity, and for whatever reason. But going back to your comment on this Olympic committee, they're asking the entire committee to step down. They need to go further than that, because the lady that was in the room with Larry Nassar all these years during all the stuff that went on, and she decided she was going to turn a deaf ear and a blind eye to it. She's as guilty as he is. She needs to go to prison the rest of her life. I'm just telling you from what I've read and what I've seen in these court proceedings and this outside the lines investigation. I want to say one thing real quick about that. We've lost the art in this country of investigative reporting. Journalism. This is true journalism. This is true digging in the dirt, taking months to come up and prove and uncover things. We've lost all that to all this fake news, and I got to be the first to report it, and I don't have to check my sources. I'm just going to throw it out there, and I'm going to hope it sticks and hope it's the right thing. Oh, and if it's wrong, oh, well, there's no consequence. I'm sorry, I didn't know that, and then we go on about it. This is right here is if we didn't have this still, then none of this would have been uncovered. This stuff would have continued to go on. So I applaud ESPN and Outside the Lines.
Bob Lee.
And Bob Lee, which this is a dying breed, by the way. There isn't very much of this left. And if we didn't have this, some of this kind of stuff wouldn't be uncovered.
All right, let me jump in.
Yep.
You and I talked about this a few months ago with the Auburn situation. I want to know the story.
I know you do. I think everybody does.
And the reason that we want to know the story is because I want to know what that leader knew, and I want to make a decision on what I think about that leader based off of what I hear. Mm-hmm. And some people may say, well, you don't want that. You don't want to hurt your school. You don't want to hurt. No, I do. I mean, because if there is a rogue rat out there and there is an issue internally in a culture,
it needs to be exposed.
It needs to be exposed, cleaned up, and hopefully you get into a situation that you can be proud of the changes that are made. You know, I feel for an Allen Green that's coming into a situation that's going to come up. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen. You're going to have to answer those questions. Is it to this extent? Who knows?
I don't know.
We don't know the story. But my point is, it's in the same realm.
It is in the same realm.
It's about the same things.
I had somebody come up to me, and you know, we all said, and I think we all at some point in time during the transition of, and we'll carry this over to the next segment too. I want to say this real quick. With Jay Jacobs, I've heard a lot of Auburn people say, well, that's probably the best. The way he went out, allowed to resign, allowed to go out, take his. And then I also had some other Auburn fans come up and say, no, he didn't deserve to go out like that at all. Why did he deserve to sit in that room and get praised for the first 5 to 7 minutes of that press conference the other day and be told, everybody across the nation, all the great things he did when he did a pot load of bad things and didn't handle his business the right way? What made him deserve to go out that way? And we'll come back and talk about that in the next segment. Stay tuned. We're just getting started here on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace, smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. At Main Street Family Urgent Care, we want you to know one of the benefits of our clinic. We have a self-pay option that allows you to get the most out of your visit. That means you don't have to worry about receiving a large bill after your visit. $125 covers all in-house labs, stitches, x-rays, or injections, and we have a selection of antibiotics available in the clinic. We want you to feel better fast at Main Street Family Urgent Care, open 7 days a week in Alexander City across the street from Walmart.
Feel better fast.
So Dave here is taking the family up to the lake for the weekend, but without the white knuckles this time. Because his new 2018 Ford F-150 has Blitz with trailer coverage. It's Brainiac smart. Not only does it watch your F-150's blind spots, it's got your trailer covered too. One less thing to spoil the weekend. No, it can't make the fish bite, but maybe they'll work on that. This is the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, pal. It is the bar.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control, celebrating our 10th anniversary. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
Ready to put some fun in your life? Whether it's Central or East Alabama, North Alabama, West Georgia, or wherever you're from, Fun Carts of Opelika is your authorized easy-go kart dealer that has no limits on a perfect easy-go kart. Whether it's a fully customized kart or a stock-made kart, we'll deliver it on time and at the best price. Fun Carts gives you the service after the sale, so no matter if it's hunting, tailgating, motorhoming, fleet rental, or just a better way to get around, Fun Carts of Opelika has it and will customize it to your needs. Visit us in Opelika or call us or visit online for the best easy-go carts. Put a little fun in your life with Fun Carts of Opelika.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Bice Motors in Alexander City. Brian and his crew offer the latest lines of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, as well as the best used inventory around. Guaranteed lowest price. Bice.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown here, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Brett Pritchard and Randy Lee here with you. till 9 o'clock. Randy, I don't remember a time last night. I think the first 45 minutes of Sports Center on ESPN was nothing but all this Michigan State stuff, and Michigan State in a flux this morning from all this, and all of this is being uncovered because of the disgusting acts of Larry Nassar and what our USA Olympic Committee and team allowed to go on for years. And somebody said last night in the conversation, why didn't one of those girls step up and say something or rat him out? When you're a gymnast in the Olympics, a lot of these girls are like 12 to 15 years old. And when you got a male doctor that's telling you this is what we've got to do to get you ready for this and competition, you just buy into the process. You buy into the program. You don't know at 12, 13, 14 years old a lot of times. Maybe they knew, some of them knew what was going on and knew it probably wasn't right, but didn't know what to say and didn't know how to say it because they're working on a career. And maybe there were some threatening things said that, hey, if you say anything about this or you won't be on this team anymore and you won't have a future in gymnastics anymore. We don't know what all went on with that. But guys like that, I don't know if there's a punishment. You know, you can't, and they said this on the news the other night, there is no punishment justly enough for a guy like that. He shouldn't be allowed just to go away and go sit in a cell somewhere because the emotional scarring that he's done to not only those girls but the families and everybody that's tied to him, hey, that'll go on forever. That stuff just is deep in the roots. He just gets, his life is kind of over, but his life's been over for a long time anyway.
Here's moving on and into the Penn State deal. You know, you and I talked on this program a few months back, looking at the football program for Penn State and going, how did they come from this? And the reason that I'm thinking that is you're over there talking, I'm thinking back a few years ago and are going, how does Penn State get back?
How do they recover?
How do they even come back from something this damaging to the university? Or Missouri. Missouri's gone through, it's a totally different deal. But Missouri's gone through a major flaw clearly in their culture at the university.
That's right.
And which was issues and now enrollment and now, but they seem to be making their way back. My point being, back to my point earlier, I want to know the story. I want to know the answer. It could be a short-term L to your university or whoever you support, but hopefully you come out on the other end, i.e. Penn State, knowing that you've tried to cleanse yourself of all of these issues and move on. So that's part of the problem. You know, people wanting to turn a blind eye because there may be some consequences to come with it. And there definitely I'm not trying to even compare these to the consequences the girls have to go through, but I mean, there still has to be a reason in the background that things are thrown under the rug.
That's right.
I don't understand what those could be, Brett, but until that is not brought to the forefront, and a decision is not made there, then you're going to continue to try to figure out why. What went wrong here?
What would make somebody want to protect something like Larry Nassar? You know, that's the key question here. You're right. I mean, why would
Jerry Sandusky? Why would you protect him?
Why would Joe Paterno protect that guy doing what he did?
Until that answer is gotten to, it's hard to find a cure.
That's right. I mean, you know, I know Jerry Sandusky and Joe Paterno had a long relationship and a friendship that ran deep, okay? But at what point in time do you walk up to one of your friends and go, man, you got a problem and we need to get you some help. Something needs to change. I can't allow this. I love you. You know, we go back a long way, but we got to get you some help, or something's got to change, and I can't allow this to continue going because I don't believe in this. And this isn't. You're not the person that I used to know. Yeah. And things like that happen. Just going back to this, Michigan State officials, including Lou Anna Simon, who was the former president, who resigned this past week, have been criticized for a lack of transparency and for not properly handling the Nassar sexual abuse allegations. As far back as 1997, athletes began telling multiple Michigan State officials including the university's longtime gymnastics coach, that Nassar was assaulting them under the guise of medical treatment. And nothing was done. Things were just swept under the rug. So there's your answer to her resigning. She and her administration and people that have been around her have known for years, no way you can be running. It's no different with the NCAA coming up with that rule about a head coach now, that you can't use, oh, I didn't know my guys were doing that, or I didn't know my assistants were doing that, as an excuse to bail you out anymore. You're ultimately responsible for everything that goes on in your program, whether you did know about it or not. Well, when something's gone on as long as 1997, okay, and you're telling me you had no idea it was going on, it's a bald-faced lie. No way you can even script it any other way, because there's too many people involved, and too many people like to run their mouth to come and tell you, hey, look, I think we got a problem with this guy. No, we don't need to do that, because I've talked to the gymnastics coach, and he does a great job, and we're fortunate to have him. You just need to back off. You know, so that's how stuff like that gets swept under the rug.
You've got to get to the why that decision's made, though.
You're right.
And you've got to set a precedent that it can't be made again.
Well, how many lives could have been changed or stopped or not affected, if they would have acted the first time? And it's just like the softball thing. I want to say, and you think about Clint Myers at Auburn, and you're right. I mean, all of this needs to come out. We need to know the true story.
Don't have a clue.
And some of these softball players are going to have to step forward. You know, painful or not, for Auburn, that's how this stuff got uncovered, is that one of these gymnasts finally had enough, man. And this has uncovered not only things that went on in the U.S. Olympic team, this has gone all the way back into Michigan State, and all the reports that were put in a file and pushed into a filing cabinet drawer and not acted on. You know, how much was the police in collusion with the administration? Who all was involved in this thing to keep this covered up? And why would you want to do that? Why would you want to have a network of cover-up like that to that level?
That's why I've been so passionate, and I know we're up against a break, about wanting to know the full story at Auburn.
And we
I want to hear it. It's going to be painful. Could be things that we don't want to hear.
But that don't represent us, and that don't represent that university.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
So it needs to come out.
It does need to come out. I think Auburn people would appreciate it. We're going to take our next break here. When we come back, we'll continue these discussions and a lot more here in the world of sports. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Ask what makes it the best 3 Series ever, and we'll tell you it has more advanced suspension and steering, or even more control of the road. And it's near perfectly balanced to put performance first. But ask if we're aware the competition mimics us just to keep up? No comment. The BMW 3 Series.
Visit BMW of Columbus on Whittlesey Boulevard or shop bmwofcolumbus.com.
Homeowners all over Alabama have discovered that when you need your flooring clean, whether it's carpet, upholstery, or any manner of hard surfaces, there's no clean like Peaches and Clean. Serving Auburn, the Chattahoochee Valley, Montgomery, Birmingham, and the Lake Martin area. Call 866-837-6937. 866-837-6937. Or visit peachesandclean.com. Caring for your floor and a whole lot more.
There's no clean like
TPE Power Equipment is now the trusted name for all your mower and power equipment needs. Whether it's our original Tallahassee location or Opelika location on Fredericks Road, we've got East Alabama covered with the best brands of mowers and power equipment from Husqvarna, Toro, Kawasaki, Echo, and Honda. Right now, get commercial strength Husqvarna zero-turn mowers with our fleet program that offers deep discounts, easy finance, and bonus handheld equipment in one solid package. TPE of Opelika and Tallahassee are the new standard of everything power equipment in East Alabama.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Farnell Mechanical gives you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable.
Trust Farnell Mechanical to provide perfect air for your family.
What perfect feels like. Lennox.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime at the all-new Opelika Ford and Opelika Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Every new and pre-owned vehicle, just one dime down. Plus credit amnesty. Bring home $350 a week, get up to $30,000 in credit.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
10 acres, 1,000 vehicles, just one dime down.
Folks, you've just got to see this place.
The all-new Opelika Ford and Opelika Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Call 800-NEXT-RIDE.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Advanced Heating and Air, your authorized East Central Alabama train dealer. Call Advanced Heating and Air. You'll be glad you did.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by Sunshine Heating and Air, JR Sports Bar and Grill. I appreciate this comment, Trey. This is a good example. And I didn't have any idea Trey was going to say this. And I remember Trey being in my class at CAC. And, you know, all of us as in education, I want to use this as a little sounding board real quick before I read this comment, because I do appreciate it. You don't go into education for compliments. You go into education for because you care about kids and you want to make a difference in their lives, or you want to think that you can help them become, you know, who you want them to become,
or whatever they want to become,
or a contributing member to society, but in the right way. And you never know. And this is just not in education as an instructor or a teacher. It could be somebody in the business world. What you say to an employee that resonates with them, whether it be something really positive or something really negative. You know, right now, Deshaun Davis, you know, I thought his story was great. He had somebody tell him when he was in 3rd grade that he'd never amount to crap and he'd be in jail or he'd kill somebody as a kid. Well, he took that and used that as a driving force to go on to play football and to now graduate from Auburn. Not only just graduate, but graduate with good grades. And he used that, and he told that story after graduation to say, look, you know, you can either be predicted by somebody to fail, or you can decide you're not going to be that person, and you can do that. But you never know what a positive or negative comment. And Trey goes in, I won't read the whole thing. He said, Brett inspired me, and he doesn't even know it. I was in his class at CAC. He told me simply, you don't have to do your work. You don't have to, let me say, I don't know if he wrote it exactly right. You don't got to do your work. You can put your head down if you want to, and you're going to get out of it what you put into it. Stuck with me forever. Thanks, Brett. A little off the subject, but you helped me as a man. And I say that to anybody that listens. Say it to my son. You get out of something what you put into it. And you never know when that one positive line, or somebody that you go into and you're demoralizing to them. You say something that's demeaning, and how that has an effect on them and how it does. I say that because it ties into this, is so much influence on kids from an adult standpoint.
Yeah, and I'll close and we'll move on to something with a little more light. But in my life, other than my parents, the people that clearly had the most responsibility for me, teachers, yes, but not as much as my coaches.
There's no doubt.
Because I was with them all the time.
That's right.
And whatever they said, I just kind of, I took it in, and it was the gospel.
It influenced you tremendously.
And, you know, everything that's come that you and I would say, probably, I would almost give them as much credit as anything my parents would say.
No
because
doubt.
Your parents are your parents. But when you've got an outsider that shows some interest in you, you usually take that saying to heart. You know, my mom, she says something positive about me, I'm kind of expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
But when somebody else does, or if they lead you and tell you, like you told Trey, something different, those go in your head. So I feel for these girls, because you got to imagine yourself, you got to put yourself in these girls' shoes somehow, which we can't. 12 to 15 years old, exceptional athletes with the opportunity to be an Olympian, to be renowned around the world, and the leaders that are put in place to you, which you've got to expect that has been thought through, and they're doing the right things by the committee that's there to oversee this. And they put somebody like this and they allow it to go on.
Just over a long period of time.
It makes you sick to your stomach, and it goes back to the only true thing that you can do to make a right out of this is to get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
Start over.
You have to clean slate. And I'm with you. We'll finish this segment up on this and then we'll move on. And if people have some comments, we'll gladly talk about them, address them. But I don't think any of you, let me take that back. A lot of people don't understand how powerful somebody in education is. An instructor, a teacher, from the kindergarten level all the way up to a college professor, to a coach on the field, on the court, wherever. How much power you truly have in how you can influence and how you might and how you will affect that person's life through your actions and through your words. It is a tool that I just sat here and thought about that I don't realize myself how powerful that is. The power of influence, the power of shaping somebody's life that they have in your hands, that they entrust in you, that they look up to you and they say, I want to be like that person, or I believe what that person has to say. And whether it's negative or positive, or whether it's abuse or not abuse, you're affecting how that person is going to live the rest of their life.
Well, and you got to know that when that mic's on. And we have learned that, and I think that we both knew that when we first put a mic on many moons ago. We're getting old. We're looking at Brett, by the way, as I look across at you. If we looked at a video from 12 years ago, we'd probably lay on the floor and start crying a little bit.
No doubt.
But my point is, even then, you knew when you said something about somebody's kid, it better be in a positive manner.
That's right.
And this all stems back to this, though. And I would consider us, even then and now, maybe leaders in our community. And when you're having a mic and somebody's giving you the responsibility to talk about their kids and about the community, you are a leader whether you choose to say it or not. So for leaders to turn a blind eye to things like this, it really is. But it is a culture that even hits home. And you and I don't want to keep bringing that softball up. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to think about it. But I do want to not be part of the culture and be a leader that sits back and says,
well, you don't want to associate with something that's like that.
That something like that's okay. So, until people start taking a stance and saying, I don't care if it hurts us.
Yeah.
It don't matter to me.
And it's like, I know some people agree with what Charles Barkley said years ago and what he didn't. But he said, look, I'm not a role model. I'm a professional basketball player. I'm not, you are, like you said, whether you want to be or not, when you have a mic, when you're doing that, you have an obligation. You have been, tapped as this person in this role. Well, when you play NBA basketball, whether you like it or not, okay, you are a role model to millions of little boys that are out there playing basketball and want to be like you, that buy your jersey. Because especially somebody of Charles Barkley's nature back in the day, where he was an all-star and so dynamic and such a good player, hey, that you are by default a role model. So it's kind of crazy. So I know we got to get to our next break. We come back, we'll read some more of these comments that are coming in, and we'd love to hear from you. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
If you've been putting off that new heating and air unit in your home because of the upfront expenses, Williams Plumbing of Alexander City now has primary financing from Synchrony and can now install brand new heating and cooling systems with zero down, longer terms, and a competitive rate. Call Williams Plumbing at 256-329-8488 and get a free quote and terms and upgrade up to $35,000 in work with approved credit. Williams Plumbing stands behind their work with on-time affordable service for all your heating and air needs, as well as plumbing for zero down financing and great service. Williams Plumbing.
With the boat season winding down and the weather getting cooler, it's time to let Alex City Marine on Cherokee Road and winterize your boat and get ready for the off-season. The good guys can make all your off-season repairs, winterization, and upgrades easy and on budget. Remember, now's the best time for used boat prices and selection, and you can even pre-order next year's Landau pontoons and quality Suzuki outboards to get the perfect fit for next spring. Service, sales, and value all this off-season at the place the locals know, Alex City Marine. And don't forget to order your 2018 Manitou pontoons now.
Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance, you got to get to Gills. Selection and price, got to get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills. Cars that fit your budget. Service that no one around can beat. Stop by today and test drive the vehicle of your dreams. Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance you. Gotta get to Gills. Selection and price. Gotta get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills.
Bills Electric is your local expert for LED lighting retrofits for commercial and industrial applications. Bills Electric can survey your facility and develop lighting retrofit solutions utilizing the latest in LED technology and controls. In many cases, energy savings alone can generate a payback of 2 years or less. Additionally, LED lighting has an expected lifespan of up to 100,000 hours. Call the Lamborns today at 256-234-4555.
New year, new you.
It's the Start Something New sales event going on now at Bice Motors in Alex City.
It's cold outside,
but the deals are hot inside.
Save up to $13,000 on remaining 2017 Ram 1500 Crew Cab Laramie 4x4.
If you ain't happy,
ain't nobody happy.
2018 Jeep Cherokee Latitude Package, only $19,700.
On the web at BiceChryslerDodge.com.
At A&M Plumbing, you can count on us for dependable, quality service. Our staff is professional, neat, clean, and courteous. We're a fully licensed and insured plumbing company. Call on A&M Plumbing for any plumbing, sewer, or septic problems. We provide a comprehensive line of plumbing repair and installation services to keep your home's plumbing systems in top order. When you need plumbing service, call on the professionals at A&M Plumbing. Service at its best, when you need it most.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Dark Insurance, offering insurance for all your personal needs, including auto, boat, homeowners, and disability. Don't be in the dark. Call Dark Insurance at 256-234-5026.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We want to go to our phone line now and welcome in our broadcast partner, our good friend Luke Robinson, who is in his car, like always, on the road somewhere. Luke, thanks for joining us this morning.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
It's good, man.
Luke, glad to have you here. And I want to start it up with you about Alabama basketball. And it's almost a tale of two teams, I would say, and I'm sure you as a fan are kind of scratching your head and saying what's going on. But just as an outsider that's not involved, just watching, this team can really look like one that's got all the pieces together to make a deep run in the tournament with a lot of length on the perimeter and on the inside. Take down Auburn, the lone SEC loss, and I told you I didn't even feel bad about it because watching Alabama, you can see the talent level there. Colin Sexton comes back in the first game back. You kind of go back to some of the bad things that you saw before Colin, and I don't know that that's his fault, but I'm interested to hear you as an Alabama fan say, what is the dynamic there? This team looks like a completely different team with or without him.
Yeah, I think that first of all, one of the biggest problems for this team is everybody's young. And Auburn went through this, and you go through some growing pains, and hopefully if everybody sticks around, they can start looking more like Auburn does, more like a real team this year. But right now, even the guys who are sophomores, like Daniel Giddens, he didn't play last year. So you've got Colin Sexton who's coming in. He was an unquestioned star coming into the season. So everybody has also gotten kind of caught up looking looking at him sometimes. I mean, just like everybody else. I mean, it's probably like with Oklahoma and Trae Young, who Alabama plays today, that sometimes their teammates can just start watching him because he's really good. He's the best one on the court, and you can just get caught in the moment. And then there's John Petty, who is very good, but he was used to being the superstar. He was Alabama Player of the Year 2 years in a row. He's won state championships. He's used to being the alpha male. Well, Colin Sexton comes in with him, and Colin's better. And all of a sudden, he's not the superstar anymore. And I think this is just my reading body language, but I think he took it. It's humbling. It's a humbling experience, and I think he had to get over that a little bit. Well, then Colin goes out. Petty goes back to being a guy who's making 8, 9, 10 3-pointers in games sometimes, and it felt good again. Well, then Colin comes back against Ole Miss, and nobody really knows who's the leader anymore. When Colin came back, he wasn't really ready to come back, but I think it was the right thing to do still to bring him in for Ole Miss because you got to get him ready to go. And I didn't want to really get him ready to go against Oklahoma, knocking rust off against Trae Young. I would rather him come on in and be ready for that big national spotlight game. And things just didn't work out against Ole Miss. But, people take that Ole Miss loss and think it means all these problems. Ole Miss hasn't lost at home to an SEC team. They beat Florida at home. So they're pretty doggone good when they play in the tag pad. When they play anywhere else, they're not that great. But, this team is very confusing. It's, to put it in a way, they're a little bipolar. They can be one way or the other, from half to half, from 5-minute stretch to 5-minute stretch. But they are getting better. I think that when Colin was out for those several games, I think a lot of them found their way. It's just now you've got to find a way to acclimate what you were doing before when he's in the lineup.
Luke, where does this team sit as far as an NCAA berth? What do they need to do to close out the season to ensure that they can get there? I really haven't looked at where they sit in the RPI or where they sit in the bracketology talk. Give us a little update there.
The RPI is pretty good. It's hovering, in the early 30s, late 20s kind of thing. That's where it sort of is all the time. Their strength of schedule is great, and the teams that they've played are great. Their schedule is going to help them out a lot. I think they need to get to 17 wins. If I'm not mistaken, Vandy got there last year with 17 wins in a tough schedule. So I feel like they need to get to 17 wins. And so they've got to get 4 more wins somewhere. The way I look at it, they can win today. They're a 1-point underdog at home. They can win this game. I don't know that they will, but they can. And this would be a huge resume booster. I don't think they can win on the road at Kentucky. I don't think they can win on the road at Florida. I don't think they can win on the road at Auburn. So there's 3 places I don't believe Alabama can go in and get the victory. But they do play Missouri at home next Wednesday. That's a potential win. They've got Florida at home. They've got on the road at Mississippi State, Arkansas at home, I believe, and Tennessee at home, and at Texas A&M for the rest of them. So I think they've got to sneak, 4 more wins out of this whole schedule. And if they get the 5 more wins, if they get 18 wins, I would feel like they're a virtual lock to make the tournament. That's just history has shown me that. I've seen it the other way too, when Alabama has 21, 22 wins and they play the soft schedule and they don't get in. So I feel like this would be the opposite. I feel like if they get to 17, 18 wins, 18 wins specifically, they get in the tournament.
Luke, big weekend last weekend in football recruiting, as well as the parade and the Nick Saban and Bill Belichick talk that continues out there. Go back to recruiting, though, and give us a little update on how Alabama hopes to close out this class.
I think they're going to close out really, really well. I mean, I'll be honest, for the first time under Saban's regime, I was a little nervous about how this thing was finishing up. Not necessarily that it was going to be the 18th ranked class, but it could be, the 10th ranked class. And I don't think that anymore. I think this class, in the end, is going to have a shot at number 2, number 3 slot. There are 5 defensive backs that Alabama is really looking at. 2 of them from California that are visiting today, and one named Taylor Stewart and one named Griffin is his last name, and they're both 5-star guys. I don't think Alabama will get both of them. I think they can get one of them. Patrick Surtain Jr. is still out there, and I think Alabama will get him. He's the top-rated defensive back in the country. obviously the son of Patrick Surtain, who played in the NFL for a long time. And LSU was the favorite forever and ever and ever. But I think they have finally looked around and said, I don't really know that I like what's going on at LSU. And I think Alabama's taken the pretty firm command there. There's a kid named Eddie Smith out of Louisiana that I can tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, Nick Saban, he's not ranked a 5-star, and Nick Saban's treating him like he is. He just loves it. He thinks he's great. He has moved up into 4-star status, but he is not getting the same notoriety as some of these other guys. But I think he's got sort of an Eddie Jackson thing going on that Nick Saban loves. I wouldn't be surprised if he were part of this class. Now, Justin Ross out of Central Phoenix City that we've seen play a lot of times, I feel like Alabama's going to get him now. For the longest time, I thought it was going to be Clemson, and then maybe even Auburn. But Alabama has jumped back to the forefront for him. Alabama's probably going to take a quarterback in this class. I just don't know who he is quite yet. James Foster out of Sidney Lanier could be at Brock Purdy from Arizona. And then there's another guy named Brevin White that just jumped onto the scene. He's committed to committed to Princeton. He's a 4-star kid, like in the ESPN 300, but he's committed to Princeton, and it's just a kind of a different situation. I mean, this is a last second, I just found out about this visit on Thursday kind of thing. So I don't know how serious it is. It may just be something he wants to go experience, but I don't think Alabama would put the time and effort if they didn't like him and if they didn't think they had a shot. So there's, and then there's another offensive lineman named Nicholas Petit Frere out of Florida. I think Alabama has a very good shot with, and Panay Sewell from Utah, who's coming down to Alabama, USC, and Oregon, it looks like. I mean, if Alabama is able to land, let's just throw out Eddie Smith, Patrick Surtain, Petit Frere, Justin Ross, maybe Jalen Waddle out of Texas, another wide receiver. I would have a hard time saying anybody's class would be better than Alabama this year, no matter where the rankings fall, but they'd probably end up being ranked number 2, maybe number 3.
Well, Luke, up against our next break, we appreciate it. Mark says on our Facebook comments to watch out for deer, okay? Nobody watches out for deer like I do anymore. And you know, Brett, we used to have those little things you put on the front of your car, like the little deer whistles. Remember those? Yeah.
I think I had mine turned backwards. I think they were attracted to.
That you brought them in instead of told them to go on. So, hey, be safe. Be safe out there, brother. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right, see you. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Why buy your next car from Lynch Nissan of Ard?
U.S. AmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, U.S. AmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com or your local branch to discover the U.S. AmeriBank difference. U.S. AmeriBank, banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
At Chicken Salad Chick, we understand the holidays can get hectic. That's why we've got your holiday party needs wrapped up with a pretty bow on top. From takeout to full service, we cater to any crowd this holiday season. Grab your favorite quick chicks or side items to go, or please your guests with a chicken salad sandwich platter, pimento cheese jingle ball, or pumpkin cheesecake. We believe you should focus on making the memories while you let Chicken Salad Chick make the food. Now go enjoy it. Chicken Salad Chick, born in Alabama and serving the best chicken salad around.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here or you can shop us online, only at Gorees Furniture.
Your express way to saving.
What's different about Hyundai of Auburn? Beautiful cars built here from parts made here. That's jobs and tax money.
And right now, Max, record low finance plans. 0% interest and $42.50 cash to spend with no budget busting repairs for a full 10 years. Drive a new Hyundai today. Check it out, HyundaiofAuburn.com.
And my Max Markdown deals. Tell them Max sent you. I might get a bonus.
Max, you're not real.
What?
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Satterfield on Highway 280 in Alex City. Satterfield is the Lake Martin area's Big Green Egg and Accessories headquarters.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Been a really quick first hour this morning. A lot that we've covered, a lot that we've talked about.
I want to thank Satterfield's out on Highway 280 in Alexander City. They got the Big Green Egg. They've got all of your lawn mowing equipment and things of that nature. And Satterfield's been with us for quite some time on our Sports Blitz programming. So stop by there and see them today.
Speaking of green eggs, I got mine from Satterfield, and when I tell you, you get what you pay for, you do. I could cook on that green egg every night if time be. You know, we get in at 9 o'clock every night. So, there ain't a lot of cooking during the weekday, but I love to be able to get out on my deck and cook on that green egg on the weekends, anything that I can do, because and people say, does it truly make a difference? It does. If you learn how to really utilize that egg the right way, the food that comes off that grill versus other grills that I've had in the past, it's not even close. It's great. So I encourage you, if you're thinking, and I've talked to some people out there that I'm thinking about, you will be very appreciative that you spent every dollar that you spent once you get it. It's worth every penny, I promise you, out there. So yeah, go check out Satterfield's, another one of our great sponsors. Luke had a great insight into Alabama recruiting there, and Alabama basketball. We'll switch gears and talk a little bit about Auburn recruiting. Auburn really not very many slots left, Randy. They've got some targets out there, but they pick up a good recruit this past week from Williamson High School in Mobile, and talked to our good friend Corey LeBounty. He called us, and he covered Williamson. He covers all those teams down there during the football season. He says, Brett, Roger McCreary, he said, if there's ever been a guy that could do everything, it's him. He said, I watched him firsthand. He said, kid never comes off field. He said he can punt. He said he can play wildcat quarterback, and he can play slot receiver. He can play kickoff return guy. He said he can play defensive back. His stats are truly amazing. He had almost 800 yards rushing from a tailback quarterback position, and almost 700-something yards receiving this year. So he a phenomenal athlete. I can't remember, had over 100 tackles on defense. So he's a guy that is versatile. He's a pretty big kid. Auburn wants him as a return specialist and a defensive back. He's 5'11", 180 pounds. So he's not a small guy, and he runs really well for his size.
I will compare him to another that came out of Woodlawn High School that probably made the biggest play, if not the second largest play in Auburn's storied history with big plays, to say the least, and that's Chris Davis. And yes. Chris Davis, I remember Ron Ingram, our good friend and the communications director for the Alabama High School Athletic Association, telling us at a luncheon one day that he felt like the best athlete in the state of Alabama was Chris Davis, and he wasn't getting his fair share of the due that he deserved. And those things that you said, Corey, who I trust Corey's
absolutely
a very good broadcaster and loves high school sports. So a guy like that from that area, I'll trust what he says. It almost sounds exactly like what Ron said about Chris Davis.
It does. And just to let everybody know out there that don't know Corey personally, Corey's an Alabama fan. He's a big Alabama fan. And so for him to pick up the phone, call me, he said, hey, brother, I'm just telling you, y'all got a good one yesterday when Roger McCreary committed. And so when he comes from a guy like that, you do say, okay, this guy must be really, really good. It's not just somebody, looking at a kid and looking at stats and saying, oh, he's a great player. So you have confidence in that. But Auburn up to 23 commitments, 8 hard commitments that have not signed yet. The other 15 signed early signing day. Auburn trying to really not a lot of talk of losing any of these guys. They feel firm, but you do worry about Quinius Miller a little bit from Jackson Olin. He is by far the best defensive player in this class in the state of Alabama. He proved that on the field in the Under Armour All-America game. He dominated for the team he was on. Just a phenomenal player, very fast for his size. He weighs 300 pounds. He's 6'4", and can move like a cat.
The only comparison that I can make for him in my recent time, now we get those type of players in the state of Alabama, so I'm not trying to say that he's of this caliber or whatever, but Deron Payne, coming out of Shades Valley High School, had a lot of the imps and a lot of the characteristics. And look, Deron Payne made as much money for himself as anyone did during that college football playoffs, Brett. And it was that athleticism that you bring up that makes you turn your eye to Deron Payne. And now he is a gym and a weight freak, and he was in high school. It was kind of passed along in high school what kind of a gym rat that he was and how strong he was. But I don't think that's what really turns your eye to Deron Payne as much as catching passes out of the backfield for a touchdown.
Just the athleticism.
Picking off interceptions, seeing that he's able to run down athletic quarterbacks and athletic running backs from the defensive tackle post. I think Miller's kind of the imps of that.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge get because, Alabama had a defensive end in that game that rated, and they only rate certain players coming out of that Under Armour game every year, and they give them grades of they start at C and go up to A, the ones that have enough snaps and played enough in the game to be graded. There were only 3 A pluses. One of them's going to Alabama, one of them's going to Auburn, and I can't remember where the other one's going. I think it may be Texas, the safety that played that's committed to Texas. They only gave 3 A pluses out, and two of the 3 going to Auburn and Alabama, and on the defensive side of the ball. You got to keep getting those defenders, especially on the front line. You got to have great play in the trenches to be able to have a chance to be successful. So we'll talk some more about some recruiting here with Auburn and Alabama. We'll shift gears, talk about some Auburn basketball when we come back. We talked about some Alabama basketball. If you've got some comments you'd like to share with us, share them on Facebook Live with us. That's a wonderful opportunity for you to stay interactive with us throughout the show. We're going to go ahead and take our next break, top of the hour break. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
At US AmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, US AmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com or your local branch to discover the U.S. Ameribank difference. U.S. Ameribank. Banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Lex Wedgeworth has been the most trusted pest control company for a generation, and now we're proud to announce our new name, EnviroCare. You can expect the same high standards for all your pest control needs, and EnviroCare's exclusive Centricon termite colony elimination system that provides the industry standard to protect your home or business. The EnviroCare Centricon termite protection protects your home year-round. Call the professionals of EnviroCare throughout Central East Alabama. Call for a free estimate. Nobody cares like EnviroCare, the next generation of full pest control for your home or business.
A1 Four Seasons, a division of Jackson Refrigeration, is Central Alabama's Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer. With the summer months approaching, the temperatures are rising, and so will your power bill if you don't have one of the latest 410A heat pumps. With R22 Freon prices on the rise, now is the time to make the switch to a new, more efficient unit that will save you hundreds of dollars on your yearly power bill. Call A1 Four Seasons at 256-234-4457. What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
And I know when I need it, I can count on you. Like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh.
You can count on the caring team at Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation. Our services include physical, speech, and occupational therapy. Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation, 256-329-9061.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Alex City Marine, the Lake Martin area's premier new and used boat and motor dealership. Find out more at alexcitymarine.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire Range.
Alex City Marine, as you see right there, Brett, this is the time of year that, you know, I'm able to see some of what goes on and have watched this in years past with Alex City Marine. We built a website for them, so some of those analytics come in through me. People start looking for a boat now because they're,
spring fever,
first off, they're dying for this weather to leave and
right.
exit. So anything that gets your mind away from that is what you're doing, including the home market here on Lake Martin. You see that really picking up at this time. But there's not a better time to go ahead and get a jump start on your spring and summer months by going on ahead and calling on Alex City Marine. Any problems with your current boat, go ahead and get those taken care of now. And also, if you're looking for a leisure boat for this summer, call on our good friends at Alex City Marine.
You know, they service all of my boats, my pontoon boat, my bass boat, and our fishing team, which I'll give a plug to real quick here in just a minute. They get all their stuff done out there, and you know, when we take long trips, like some of my guys are in Louisiana this week and on the border of Texas, Louisiana, you want to make sure everything's in good working order, because you get out there 8-9 hours away, something tear up, it puts you out of the tournament.
Stick with fishing on this segment. Let's have a whole segment on it, because we've got a really big tournament, and I've enjoyed talking this week to our good friend Greg Vinson, who's been down at our shop at Sign Source getting his boat wrapped, and I appreciate Greg for continuing to work with us.
We've wrapped his boat ever since he's been a pro.
We have, and I really appreciate him continuing to do that, but Greg he's a wonderful human, and a very talented one at that, and hopefully this year is his year. He has hung in there with it, and I'm not surprised to hear that, but Brett, I'll kick it to you because you know a lot more about fishing than I do. But it is one of those sports that people will do because it's their passion, and they don't necessarily fight for maybe the players union that we see in some others. I had a really good conversation with Greg on that, but I'm impressed with what this sport's been able to do and generate over the last 4 or 5 years, especially with leaderboards and following that, how much of a change that's brought to the sport. But we're super excited for the big opening event of the season for the Elite Series to be here on Lake Martin.
You know, a lot of people have said stuff about Bass Track, and you talking about keeping up throughout the day. And it's not purely accurate, but it gives everybody a real-time chance to keep up with it throughout the day, because in the past, you go off, you blast off, and you don't know what anybody's done until they come to the scales at 3:30 in the afternoon. Well, the other people say, on the other side, go, well, that's what made bass tournaments what they are. The lure of sitting there waiting for the catch to be brought in to see what's – doesn't affect the weigh-in. Hasn't affected the weigh-in for me at all. It does give perspective, because the naysayers go, well, you know, if I already know Joe Blow's got 24 pounds coming in, well, there's no drama. I'm like, yeah, there is drama. You still want to see the fish. You want to hear the explanation of what they did and all that. So to me, it hadn't really done anything but enhance the sport. Going back to Greg, Greg, you and I have grown up with him and know his work ethic. You know, a few years back, he was a runner-up in the Classic, which, I mean, you know, you're that close to winning the biggest tournament in the history of bass fishing. And he fished well down in Louisiana, but came up a couple pounds short to Chris Lane, who caught a fish in the last 10 minutes to beat him. And tough to swallow. It's almost like losing the national championship. He and I talked about that several times. You know, we know how it feels to lose a national championship.
It is that in that sport.
No, it is. It is the national championship, the Super Bowl. But on the flip side, as you get away from it, you look at it from a professional standpoint. Oh, man, I've made it to the pinnacle of this sport. I can, you know, what a confidence boost to say, look, I was a couple pounds away from winning the Classic, which is the most renowned bass tournament in the world, and tells me, and not that he needed solidification that he belongs there, but that in your mind, that mentally helps you as an athlete. Go, hey, well, I do belong here. I can compete here. And Greg's not an excuse guy. He would never say this. I'm gonna say it for him. Just like all of us, me sitting over here with neck pain today, trying to battle through it. But when you get older, it's no different than being on a golf course, whatever. Greg was a talented athlete, pitched a lot in college. Well, you don't realize the wear and tear on your arm from casting. You may cast 600-700 times a day if you're really getting after it in a day of fishing on the water. Well, Randy, you think about the work on your elbow and your arm and the type of stuff that they have to do and how accurate you have to be. A cast one particular cast and putting it in the right spot the first time can be the determining factor on whether you catch that fish or whether you don't get a bite at all. And those guys can't afford to have 50% of their cast be off, because if they have 50% of their cast off, they're out of a job. It's no different than a quarterback. He can't afford to throw an errant pass 2 times out of every 10 passes, because if you're going to do that and you're going to throw interceptions, you're not going to be a quarterback very long. So to be at the top of your game, competing against the top 110 anglers in the world, you got to be on top of your game the whole time, because you're competing against guys that don't make mistakes, and they're going to capitalize when you do make a mistake. Well, I say that because Greg's had to battle some arm issues the last year and a half, and he and I have talked about pain management. And just like in football, baseball, basketball, whatever, when you got pain, whether you're trying to play through it or not, when you know if I make that motion, it's going to hurt, your brain's telling you don't do that. And so you got to learn to fight through that. But when your mind is on, oh, that's about to hurt, and not making that cast in the right spot, doing that, it affects you. Greg would never get up here and say that because he's not an excuse guy. But it's part of the sport. It's part of the game. So when you're not at 100%, you don't realize it sometimes that it affects the bigger picture.
I'll spin it in this. And this is what I've heard, and this is what I've sensed watching you in groups talking about this tournament. There are a lot of avid fishermen here that are excited for this tournament to come, to talk and to be around these guys, to talk about things you just talked about. I don't think about that, mainly because I don't like fishing. I'm not even good at it. but there's a whole bunch of people that are. So haven't you heard that, Brett?
Oh,
People
yeah.
that want to be on the boats with them and get out there, see where they're going, see what they're doing, see those issues that some may have, those that others may not. Not too often that you get a really big tournament like that here on Lake Martin. I think it's been 20 plus years since we've had our last one. So please, if you're out there in the Lake Martin region and you're looking to get out, and we'll try to carry this over and talk a little bit more about it, Brett, because it is important. And we appreciate the city of Alexander City jumping out and getting in support of this. And Brett, who's been in front, Ed Kalari with the Alexander City Chamber of Commerce that's tried to spearhead and really press this. It's needed. It's needed, and it's needed for people to be in support, and so we need the community to come out exponentially whenever they come here.
There's no doubt. Let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll continue this discussion through Facebook and when we come back on the other side. Stay tuned, more of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Now is the best time to see the good guys the locals know, Alex City Marine. With last year being our best year yet, Landau Pontoons has increased Alex City Marine's allocation of Landaus for the 17 season. Our Suzuki outboard selections are at an all-time high. Alex City Marine is now also Lake Martin's exclusive Manitou pontoon dealer with a full line of the luxurious Manitou Tri-Tune with patented V-Tune technology for top performance. Get the best selection now of Landau and Manitou pontoons. Alex City Marine, Lake Martin.
Whether it's a dream house or corporate real estate, Concrete has the skill, expertise, and talent to exceed your expectations. Trust Concrete to build a foundation for your future. Our work ethic and dedication are always in keeping the competition on their toes. We specialize in residential and commercial development in the Coosa, Talladega, and Shelby County areas. Call us today for your next project, 256-245-4211, or check us out on the web at con-crete.com.
There is a strength inside you, unknown and imperfect, waiting. And when you think you have nothing left to give, when each obstacle in your path is more formidable than the last, that's when you'll find it. And with that strength, your greatness will have no limits.
Hi, this is Quinn Harrelson with Interlink Mortgage in Auburn, Alabama. There are 1,000 different questions people ask me every day about mortgage loans. They ask about buying investment homes, primary homes, and even second homes at the lake or the beach. I only have a limited time to say, call me and let's talk about what you want and how I can help you get it. Again, win with Quinn and call me today at 256-675-6259 so I can help structure a mortgage that best fits you and your family's needs.
New year, new you.
It's the Start Something New sales event going on now at Bice Motors in Alex City.
It's cold outside, but the deals are hot inside.
Save up to $13,000 on remaining 2017 Ram 1500 Crew Cab Laramie 4x4.
If you ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
2018 Jeep Cherokee Latitude Package, only $19,700.
On the web at BiceChryslerDodge.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. Randy, we're talking about these pros, efficient, and professional. I want to stay on that word, professional. And a lot of times I've had people come up and say, man, fishermen are not an athlete. They don't. And maybe not to the fact of a football player or a baseball player or a basketball, somebody that's playing a team sport or even a golfer. But I want to say this from a standpoint of endurance. I fished a tournament trail, a pretty big tournament trail last year. Me and Brett Pritchard fished together, and it was just a one-day tournament, but we traveled, and there was 200 boats in it, 200 really good. I mean, there's guys that fish that trail can fish on the Elite Series. I mean, you're competing against some really, really good anglers, and it's eye-opening to see that. But the amount of practice, and I'll kind of go through a day for these elites, the wear and tear on your body. If you want to be good, if you want to get after it and give yourself the best chance to be successful, these guys are up way before the sun comes up, and they don't come off the water until the sun's down. And it don't matter if it's 20 degrees or it don't matter if it's 100 degrees. They're out there. It doesn't matter if it's pouring rain, windy, or if it's a Chamber of Commerce Bluebird Sky Day. Their office is outdoors, and so they don't get to pick what temperature it is and what kind of day it's going to be. They have to go to work regardless. And the amount of up and down, just the up and down in that boat all day, up and down, up to the front, taking control of the motor, popping it, trying to battle wind, trying to make cast, trying to stay on task with your mind. Man, people that don't do it on that level don't have a clue on how grueling that is, and they do it 4 or 5 consecutive days in a row for practice. Then the tournament starts. Now you're competing. So you do that for 4 or 5 straight days and see how your body reacts. And then they get a couple weeks off, and then they're back. They don't get a couple weeks off before the next tournament. They're going straight from one tournament to the next, going to practice again. So when you say those guys aren't really athletes, you've got to be somewhat athletic to be able to just take that beating on your body the way they do.
Well, I'll go back to Greg again, and I think I've had as much of a firsthand encounter with what kind of athlete he is than anybody he's been around. I'll be willing to say that.
Oh, yeah.
He and I played football, basketball, and baseball together, and a lot of times we played the same position, so we competed with one another on which one was going to get a role on teams. He is, without a doubt, he's not the best athlete from speed and running and straight ahead. He is, without a doubt, the best hand-eye coordination athlete I've ever been around. Anything he picks up, he gets. I went to play golf with him the first time.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. He never swung a golf club, but he's watched people do it, and he's that good an athlete that I think with a week or two, he'd have been better than me.
It's crazy. It's like a guy playing from ear by music. Some people can just pick up an instrument. They hear a song one time. They don't know how to read music. They hear it and they go, and they regurgitate it. It's the same way with an athlete.
You bring up a
like
thing
that.
About, when you grow up with someone and you watch and you hear of issues like arm issues, and you think back to this guy who was a tremendous athlete at 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, pitching constantly. Anytime they could throw you out there, you're out there, and you hear about people getting the yips, or you hear about people having troubles with their arms and their body telling them no. And I'm thinking back, and I told you this during the break, and I'll share it here. I've never really shared it, but I'll share it here. I got it. As a college pitcher, I was probably a pitch or two away from Tommy John's. I knew it was going to pop, but I didn't care. I was hard-headed. I'm going to throw about 6 or 8 ibuprofen in my body every time I needed to go out there, and I'm going to try it out. Well, after a while, being able to hit that doorknob over there from the time I'm probably 3 or 4 years old, honestly, to not being able to hit that wall over there with the yips and with my mental state going, no, I don't think I'm going to let you tear me up anymore. I don't think I'm going to let you throw 8 ibuprofen in you and let you see if you can go out there. And I'm no professional, but I'm no different than a lot of people
you got a chance to play college baseball.
That have opportunities that you get. So I really feel and hope that that will turn around for him, because I'm in my mind imagining what he's going through right there. And that's part of the beauty of this sport coming here. Anytime you're in little old Alexander City, Alabama, on little old Lake Martin in comparison to the grand scheme of things out there, and you get the top 110 of anything to come to your community, and if you're interested in it, which a lot of people are around here, we need to take advantage of it. And we're going to talk about it a lot more on our programming. And again, we're really appreciative of the community for being a host of this and a willingness to be a host of this, so many like you can be right there in front of it and enjoying one of your passions.
Man, and just the opportunity to learn, man. I embrace stuff in the outdoors because and even at the pro level, you never too good or never get to a point where you go, okay, I'm good. I don't need to learn anything else. I'm happy with where we are. status quo. You always want to learn more techniques and different things and things like that. So you have an opportunity to learn from the best. But it is good that Greg is better now. And, he's worked through some issues, had some treatments, and he feels really good. He's real confident about this tournament, and he's going to be on with us Monday. He's going to come on the show Monday that we'll tape, and then we'll be on Tuesday. He'll be here for the Lake Martin Sports Roundup to talk about it.
We're going to get down to Wind Creek and do a little segment from down there and talk about the venue, give everybody an update.
Yeah.
I talked to Greg this week, but the way that Wind Creek's set up and the opportunities for Wind Creek to not only take advantage of what they currently have, but to expand that potentially in the years to come with the new law that's out there, that not only all the money's thrown into one big pot.
That's right.
But if you have a park like Wind Creek that's successful, and it's one of the most successful ones here in the state of Alabama, you can take some of that success and add back to your park. I was mentioning that to Greg from a business standpoint. It's such a beautiful place, but if that money keeps going back, and the opportunities that could come to this region because of that is unbelievable.
There's a couple things, and I won't go into all of them, but I'll try to say it as quickly as I can. This elite tournament is here for a couple of reasons. Number one, when you host a national championship, what's the first thing a committee wants to do when they host a national championship? See if that facility's good enough, right? That's where you start. Well, if you don't have a facility, then you're out of the game, period. Wind Creek's a great facility. It can host a lot of traffic. It hosts a lot of people, a lot of big tournaments out of there. There was a sounding board the previous 3 years, a lot of people around there don't know. This tournament just didn't go, oh, well, let's go try Lake Martin. It's a lot of processes that have to go on, especially when you're dealing with the top guys. These guys are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're competing for hundreds of thousands of dollars every time they go out there. So this is their livelihood. This is their profession. So they don't want just decisions made on a whim and a fancy. The tournaments that we've had the last 3 years, we've hosted the largest, and I say we, this city, this area, and Central Alabama Community College, a big part of it, have hosted the largest high school bass tournament in high school history and the largest collegiate tournament in college history in the last 3 years on Lake Martin. So there's your nugget to be proud of around here. The bass officials wanted to see how this community responded to such a big event. This community opened its arms, and the people of this community opened its arms, and we had a huge weigh-in at Central Alabama Community College on the final day on Saturday 2 years ago for the college tournament. The high school tournament had more high school kids involved in that tournament than any, and the facilities handled it, the Parks and Rec, the city handled it, people came out and supported it. Well, guess what? The bass official said, man, the elite guys need to go there because of the support and the passion for it. So in summation, yeah, there were some things behind the scenes. Ed Kalari being one of the biggest ones, with the chamber really spearheading and the city council buying in and all that. But all of that people really didn't even know they were affecting were affecting the decision for this tournament to be here in a couple of weeks. So when you think it's not important to support, you never know what that support for that event might do for a future event. That's why this elite tournament's coming. I encourage you to come out February 7th through the end of that weekend. It's going to be a phenomenal weekend to have those guys here. I'm going to be a marshal on the lake for a couple of days on Thursday and Friday. I'm looking forward to that. Again, opportunity to be with somebody and see their techniques and kind of learn from them, but to kind of be part of all that stuff. And it's just a good opportunity for everybody, whether you're a big fisherman or not, never looked into it or go fishing every day, to come out and see this firsthand. And it's a blessing to be able to have such a good tournament. I will say this real quick before we get off fishing. My bass team, I have 3 teams in the first college tournament of the season out in Toledo Bend Reservoir. It's on the border of Texas and Louisiana. It's rated the #1 bass fishing lake in the country right now. It's just a hot lake. They had over 200 boats at this tournament. I have 3 teams out there, of 2 guys each. I have 6 of my 12 fishermen that went out and competed in this Central Open. And I've already got 1 team that's qualified for nationals. Hunter Presley and Kayla Dennis have really had 2 tremendous days out there on a body of water they've never been to. They went out on Monday, started practicing, found a pattern, caught 13.5 pounds the first day, caught almost 15 pounds yesterday, had a 7-pounder. They're an 18th out of 220 boats, Randy.
That's wonderful.
So they'll fish today. The top 30 fish today, but they've already locked down a national championship berth, and so it takes a little bit of pressure off them the rest of the year. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk some basketball. The Big 12 SEC Challenge going on today. We'll talk about those teams. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
The door's open, the beer's cold, and the biscuits are hot at Foshee Sportz on Dable Road in Alexander City. Fishing season is in year-round and live bait is available. Non-ethanol gas is available along with propane and pellet ice. So come on by and see what we're all about, where the kitchen is open Monday through Friday early at Foshee Sportz on Dable Road in Alexander City. And tell them old Katie sent you right here from the front porch, WAXC TV.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
When insurance agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Did your team just win the big game? Are you looking for a unique way to honor a valuable employee? Lila's Engraving has you covered, offering a large selection of custom trophies and plaques. Lila's also offers cast aluminum car tags, custom engraved wine glasses, clocks, and wood cutting boards. They even offer custom framing for any art or picture as well. Lila's combines the best quality items with the fastest service around. With over 27 years of experience in the Alexander City and Lake Martin areas, Lila's Engraving is your only choice for custom awards and engraved gifts. Always remember, winners choose Lila's.
LMG Advertising Agency offers a comprehensive marketing solution tailored to each of our clients' needs. We are a full-service marketing firm offering website design and development, video production, social media marketing, search engine optimization, and overall branding that includes logo design, brochures, mailouts, and more. Our experienced team of marketing professionals would love to come up with a marketing strategy that will deliver results for you and your business. Learn more at lmgadagency.com or call today to start at 256-825-0197.
Whether it's a walk-off home run, a game-winning touchdown, or a buzzer beater, make sure Jay's Sports Grill is in your lineup. Located in downtown Sylacauga and a short drive from Highway 280, Jay's has the food you're looking for. Whether it's wings, fingers, burgers, or salads, they have it all. Come bring your family for a great meal, come hang out with your friends for the big game, or call them at 256-207-0700 to place your order. Make sure Jay's Sports Grill is in your lineup.
Lex Wedgeworth has been the most trusted pest control company for a generation, and now we're proud to announce our new name, EnviroCare. You can expect the same high standards for all your pest control needs, and EnviroCare's exclusive Centricon termite colony elimination system that provides the industry standard to protect your home or business. The EnviroCare Centricon termite protection protects your home year-round. Call the professionals of EnviroCare throughout Central East Alabama. Call for a free estimate. Nobody cares like EnviroCare, the next generation of full pest control for your home or business.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Peaches and Clean, caring for your floors and a whole lot more in East Central Alabama.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Sunshine, heat, and air, about 30 minutes left today. Sean.
Long time that we've had Peaches and Clean as part of our program here on Sports Blitz and the Saturday Sports Countdown. And those of you that maybe are building a new home and want to have things cleaned up before you move in, or for those of you that have lived in it like we do with families and they need to be cleaned on a, pretty much at my house with a 4 and 2 year old.
Yeah, I'm with you.
A daily basis, Peaches and Clean, give them a call.
If you think it gets better when they get up around 13, I hate to tell you, but it kind of gets worse. I remember me and you at 13, 14, there's people didn't need to go in those rooms. But anyway, the Big 12 SEC challenge that goes on. Auburn played TCU last year, so Auburn's one of 4 SEC teams not competing. Obviously, there's not enough Big 12 teams for everybody to compete, so 4 teams for the SEC get left out. Auburn plays LSU today. Missouri plays Mississippi State, and I've heard all the pundits, and at the time this was scheduled, nobody thought this, but right now, the best team in the conference is Auburn, and they're not even in the Big 12 challenge, and everybody's like, golly, it's crazy not to have them in there.
Let me tell you.
Nobody predicted that one. Nobody predicted it, but let's run down this slate. Some interesting games. Texas Tech, number 14 in the country, travels over to South Carolina, who is really playing well right now. You say what you want to about Frank Martin. He's really a good coach, obviously, to take a program like South Carolina and get them to where they are now. They were in Final Four last year. They seem to be turning into that really good team that they were last year right now, without some of those players off last year's team. So that'll be a good game today. Baylor travels to Florida. Ole Miss at Texas. Texas 13-7, 4-4. Ole Miss 11-9, 4-4. Could be interesting there. Georgia, who is really trending downward tremendously, they'll travel out to Kansas State and play a 15-5 Kansas State team that beat Kansas a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So Georgia will have their hands full. Here's the game I think everybody's going to be waiting to watch. Number 12, Oklahoma at Alabama. That'll be interesting right there. That'll be a great game. The best player in the country for Oklahoma going to Alabama, and they'll be facing off against Colin Sexton.
It's one of those situations where even us as Auburn fans will be cheering for Alabama, a lot of us here, because this is a matchup that it says it in its title.
Oh, it does.
SEC versus. And it's an Alabama team that we've seen many of those guys, watch them through the ranks in high school basketball here in the state. And I think Luke's dead on. Brett, I don't know how many of them outside of Colin Sexton move on to the NBA. I think they've got a number of them that's going to be there 3, maybe 4 years in college and have something to build on here. And a very talented team. Avery Johnson and Bruce Pearl, if we can keep Bruce Pearl around, keep doing what we're doing, I think both are primed and positioned to do this for 8 to 10 years now, if we can hopefully hold on.
Yeah, there's no question. I'm with you there. The next game, number 22 Tennessee, really having a good year, 14-5. They'll go to Iowa State. Iowa State 11-8, 2-6. I'd like Tennessee on the road there. TCU at Vanderbilt. Texas A&M at Kansas. Texas A&M, high expectations coming into the year. 3 of their starters get injured. They've struggled. They're 13-7. Kansas is 16-4, number 5 in the country. Oklahoma State goes to Arkansas. Arkansas gets their first road win in the SEC this past week at Georgia in overtime, so they're able to get a little bit better. That'll be an interesting game. And then Kentucky goes to West Virginia. West Virginia, number 7 in the country, 16-4. Kentucky 15-5. This doesn't feel like the Kentuckys we're used to. So Kentucky will be fortunate, I believe, to go into West Virginia.
First time outside of the top 25 in quite some time. This is a Kentucky team that's looked really good at times and have looked like a team that this group of freshmen weren't quite up to par with some of the others. But, I've listened to plenty of interviews from Calipari and others, including Wyatt that Feinbaum had on this past week that covers Kentucky basketball. And it's a team that, if you remember several years ago, they had a little start like this, got it going late, got it going into the SEC tournament.
And made it all the way to the
finals. Finds themselves in the finals, and we're all going, how?
Well, because they're Kentucky.
They're Kentucky, and they have the athleticism to do that. So maybe this would be a turning point.
Sometimes that youth can gel, down the line and be tough. You never want to play Kentucky. I don't care what kind of team they have. LSU at Auburn. So in the conference, LSU travels to Auburn. Auburn 18-2, 6-1. in the country. 6-1 in the conference, but the highest rated team in the SEC right now at 19. They'll move up, I believe, after this week if they can handle business against LSU. Auburn could stand to move up into the top 50.
I know we got to go to a break right here, Brett. When we come back, let's run down some specifics about this Auburn team that we're seeing that you think is taking them to the next level, and some of the stats that we've seen so far in this year as we head into LSU today.
Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Is our number one concern. Advanced Heat and Air.
Advanced Heating and Air makes your comfort their priority for any season. Advanced Heating and Air is the region's train dealer and an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer that can save you money and energy with a new electric heat pump. Advanced Heating and Air maintains the region's best service team, so rely on us to make your comfort our number one concern. Call 234-5052, and we're there for you.
Hi, this is Quinn Harrelson with Interlink Mortgage in Auburn, Alabama. There are 1,000 different questions people ask me every day about mortgage loans. They ask about buying investment homes, primary homes, and even second homes at the lake or the beach. I only have a limited time to say, call me and let's talk about what you want and how I can help you get it. Again, win with Quinn and call me today at 256-675-6259 so I can help structure a mortgage that best fits you and your family's needs.
Game day. Last season you were watching football at the mercy of that loathed cable company and your weird roommate with the ornery chinchilla. But today you're going to watch wherever the Wild you want. You go here, Wild Wing Cafe. They've got all the games on more screens than you can count, and cute roommates. This is just the Wild you need. So go wild, superfan. We can't help you choking QB, but we do have cold beer.
Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance, you got to get to Gills. Selection and price, got to get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills. Cars that fit your budget. Service that no one around can beat. Stop by today and test drive the vehicle of your dreams. Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance you, gotta get to Gills. Selection and price, gotta get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills.
East Central Alabama asked for it, and Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoors has answered with the region's full-service Mahindra Tractor and UTV dealer on Highway 280 in Alex City next to Tallapoosa Ford. Full lines of Mahindra Tractor, E-Max, Max 1500 Series to 5500 Series. We have the world's #1 tractor line. Get the job done as well with full lines of the world's toughest UTVs and accessories. Visit the all-new Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor in Alex City. True grit never taps out with Mahindra Tractors, UTVs, and accessories.
What do you see when you think about your future?
Do you see determination that keeps you going, that helps you make a difference in your world?
Do you see challenges that make you stronger?
Southern Union State Community College realizes that your opportunities for greatness are unlimited. Your journey has just begun.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Hyundai of Auburn. You owe it to yourself. Call Hyundai of Auburn today at 334-321-0777 and visit them online at HyundaiofAuburn.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire.
Hyundai of Auburn, been one of our segment sponsors for a long time, and I'm going to go on a couple because there was a segment sponsor earlier that I didn't mention that I want to mention here, and Hyundai of Auburn, I'm about to go get out in my car, and it's a Hyundai Sonata, and I'm going to drive down to a home that I'm having built, and I'm going to check out some new windows and doors that are new Pella windows and doors that were installed at my house this week from Russell Do It Center and Building Supply Stores that we didn't talk about earlier.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that when you look at these segment sponsors, like you talked about the Big Green Egg, and you hope that you can get out there and support those. But those Pella windows, I haven't been able to see them in the light of day. I've had next to no input on decisions that are made from a standpoint, but I do know this, that when my wife's happy, I'm happy.
Oh, ain't no question.
And she is thrilled with those Pella windows that she got at Russell Do It Center and Building Supply Stores. And they were great to work with, and they're a mainframe on any home that are out there. So I'm excited to head down there, and so thank you, Russell Do It Center and Building Supply Stores, and thank you, Hyundai of Auburn, for getting me down there.
Yeah, and Kirby Scales, our good friend, I was at his house last night because all our boys spend the night at his house last night and tonight with Discovery Weekend. I said, good luck to y'all. There'll be no sleep this weekend. So if you see Kirby next week and he looks like he's tired, he probably is. We'll move into Auburn basketball a little bit more in depth. Auburn last time on the court, dominating win over Missouri. You know, anytime you go on the road and you win by 20 in the SEC, I don't care who it is, but Auburn wins by 18. They win 91-73. Really just exploded in the second half. Controlled the game, up and down the floor. Free throw shooting was back on par where they've been. They shot 88%, 23 of 26. They were on fire from behind the arc, 14 of 32, shooting a three-pointer. But you look over at Missouri, and Andy and I talked about this a few days ago. You look at the opponent, and they didn't play that bad. They were 22 of 54, 40% shooting, which isn't great, but it's not terrible. They were almost 40% from behind the three-point line, 11-30. It's not like these teams are tanking. Missouri was 18 of 22 shooting free throws. They out-rebounded Auburn, had 41 rebounds to Auburn's 30, so it's not like you look down and these teams had a really bad game and Auburn just won because the team had an off night. Auburn's beating teams at their place when they're playing pretty good.
Has to be a pressure issue. I had this conversation for about an hour yesterday at our building, and the person I was talking to said, Randy, after a while, when you see what Auburn's doing in the second half, you've got to suspect that it's part of the game plan. You've got to suspect that it's them wearing down the opponent in some way or fashion, or else it wouldn't continue to happen this. And that's what's happening here. You know, a couple of weeks ago, at least last Saturday, you see Mustafa Heron, and Heron gets into foul trouble. He comes out in the second half, and he plays out of his mind. And the team feeds off of his energy. Bryce Brown's been that mainstay all year long. This past Wednesday night, it's Anthony McLemore that we're all sending text messages back and forth. He's 6'7", but he plays larger than he is, and he's got an exceptional leaping ability, great length.
Leads the league in blocks.
One thing I noticed, there's two things that I noticed about this team that maybe separates them from others. Their willingness to defend, which was our struggle on the road at Alabama. Alabama had a great game plan, ton of high ball screens. For those of us that played guard, and played guard against teams that were really screen-oriented up on the perimeter. First 3 or 4 times, you'll fight through that screen. You'll go ahead and you'll take that coach's advice. Get through it, son. Don't hedge. Don't allow him to get on to a larger guy that guard's going to make a move on him. 4 or 5 times after a while, you're like, I'm tired of fighting through this. I'm switching.
Yeah.
I'm switching, and then you got a mismatch. And Auburn against Alabama, with the length that they put on the floor that night, especially with Colin Sexton out, caused major problems with us defensively. Bryce Brown's willingness to defend, though, on the perimeter is eye-opening. Do you notice that when you watch him play?
Oh, you can't. If you're not watching the game if you don't not watch it.
And in the interior and the activity that this team presents with the interior by their athleticism with Horace Spencer and McLemore, inside Brett, causes problems all over the court. And I'll say a text from Wesley Coleman, our good friend, that I thought was one of the best ones I've read this year. This team's fun. Doesn't matter what happens, this team's fun. This team's fun to watch.
It is fun to watch.
And isn't that something for an Auburn fan to say that this basketball team, I said that in the Alabama game. I loved that game. We didn't quit. We missed some free throws, but you're going to do that.
Yeah, you're going to have nights where you don't play well.
But I watched Alabama, and I go, that's not a bad loss at Alabama. It's really not.
No, it's actually, preseason going in, it was a place where nobody was expected to go on the road and win anyway. But you said something about, a plan. It's predicated that they do it this way. We got down to Georgia, and I sent that text. I said, I told y'all. I felt bad. I told everybody on Auburn Blitz that we ain't been playing good in the first half, four games in a row. We were coming off a loss at Alabama. How would we play at home against Georgia? Well, we're down 40-24 at half. Looked terrible. Everybody felt the same way. Nobody envisioned a 31-4 run coming out of the break. But Bruce Pearl in the postgame said, look, I really wasn't upset with where we were at halftime. He said it was part of – he said, I watched Georgia and what they were doing. He said, I knew they were going to wear down. Now, I kidded with Andy. I said, how about let's not get down 40-24, not worry. But his plan, is what I'm saying, is that he didn't panic that they were down 16 points. That it was part of the deal that if we stayed our plan, it'll end up working out. And I don't think he envisioned going on a 31-4 run either. But he knew the way Georgia was, and my dad even picked up on this. He said, big guy for Georgia was dragging his tongue. Man, he ain't want no more. He couldn't get up and down the floor. Auburn wore them down. It was part of the game plan.
I'll go to first off. Last night I watched 40 Minutes of Hell, and Nolan Richardson. And you know what I thought of immediately when I watched that, and I haven't thought about this when we're over calling the championship games in Birmingham. Bucky McMillan at Mountain Brook, and the constant pulling and throwing players out there for a minute or two and jerking them back off the court. Possessions, every possession mattered to Nolan Richardson, and he was going to defend your butt from one end of the court to the next. It's the same concept that Bucky McMillan has at Mountain Brook.
Yeah,
he's going to defend you the entire length of the court, and he's going to keep fresh faces in there and fresh legs in the basketball game.
Every stop and play substitute.
So when that pick play comes up at the top, and I've got a point like Trae Young today at Oklahoma that I got to stay with, because if I switch and allow him to get on my 3 or 4, he's got them every time. Auburn's willingness to do that this year is so much different than what I've seen. And I'm not saying that we haven't played hard under Bruce Pearl.
Yeah, but
when you start winning, Brett, that confidence level starts building up.
Man.
Players start playing better than they maybe really are. And we're getting that this year, and the only comparison that we can make at Auburn's the 98-99 team.
No question, and we brought it up a couple weeks ago. You and I were talking about who does this look like in Auburn history. No question, 98-99. There's not even another team that you can discuss. We're going to take another break, last break of the show. When we come back, we'll close it out here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Why buy your next car from Lynch Nissan of Auburn? Needing extra space at your house? Check out Easy Storage Units on Tallapoosa Street, 1 mile from downtown Alex City. With state-of-the-art 24-hour surveillance, you can rest easy knowing all of your possessions will be safe and secure. Easy Storage has any size unit you need, from 5x10s up to 10x20s. Call Easy Storage today at 256-794-8223 to rent your unit today. That's Easy Storage, 256-794-8223.
When you're born, you're really young. You're like 0 years old. My grandma tells me to quit growing up so fast. But what can I do about it? My mom keeps throwing me birthday parties.
Russell Medical, comprehensive care in your corner of the world.
Show Enough Barbecue. Since
1990, we've been serving you the finest barbecue in Alexander City. Gerald believes in cooking fresh meat daily, and the secret to that is, I'm not going to tell you. Show Enough is just not about barbecue, but also known for fresh vegetables and homemade pies. That's where I come in. I'm Linda Sanford, better known as the Pie Lady. We also do catering. For more information, give us a call at 234-7675.
Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. At Walls, you'll find a dedicated staff offering top quality service from routine maintenance to a full engine overhaul and everything in between. Brian Walls and the folks at Walls Tire are local folks that you know, and they provide the best service, always at a fair price. Find out what the rest of the Lake Martin area already knows. Walls Tire is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. Just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City. This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Russell Do-It Center, offering a complete assortment of lumber, building materials, electrical, and plumbing supplies. Russell Do-It Center stores deliver first-class service, top-rate products, and competitive do-it-best pricing.
Welcome back, everyone. Final segment here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. You know, we didn't talk about it. Baseball Hall of Fame, it's a good thing we'll talk about here real quick. Chipper Jones, man, 97.2%. First time ballot gets in. I mean, very deserving.
Switch hitter, stayed loyal to one organization, very solid defensively, 300-plus hitter as a switch hitter, I think, being the only one. Mickey Mantle finished a few points below 300 in his career. And all of those, good teammate. Never hear anyone that was really negative towards Chipper Jones as a teammate. You get all of those things together. Not to say his stats don't bode for a number that high, which but he's a no-brainer.
Here's a cool
stat. You have to be trying to come up with a reason to not put Chipper Jones.
No, you're exactly right. Here's a cool stat, because we all love recruiting and we love to see how 5 stars pan out. And how if they live up to their billing. What about number 1 draft picks? How do they live up to their billing? You know how many number 1 draft picks, overall number 1 draft picks are in the Hall of Fame?
How many?
One other one outside of Chipper Jones, Ken Griffey Jr.
Is that right?
So you think about all the number 1 draft picks that teams have taken a chance on. In the history of Major League Baseball, only 2 guys.
Wow.
That were the number 1 overall draft pick are in the Hall of Fame.
That's shocking to hear, and I saw the graphic, but I didn't see that they were the only 2, but they were actually within a 3-year span, too. Ken Griffey Jr., then they had one in the middle that was a Yankees pitcher, and then you had Chipper Jones. So
it was 88 and 90. Ken Griffey Jr. drafted in 88, and Chipper Jones drafted in 90.
Wow.
So amazing stuff there. Also Jim Thome, Vladimir Guerrero, and Trevor Hoffman. Trevor Hoffman, man, he was a dominant relief pitcher. Vladimir Guerrero, you didn't realize it. Like you said, off the hoof you saw, but just what he was able to do, his numbers just phenomenal.
Up against the end of the show, I want to thank all of you for tuning in today. I want to again thank our great corporate partners here, JR Sports Bar and Grill. Go out and have a great lunch with them. They've been part of our program for 12-plus years now, and we can't thank them enough.
That's right, and unfortunately, Randy, I'll read what Mark said. Mark said the Farmer's Almanac hasn't been wrong yet this year, and it says snow coming first mid-February.
Beautiful.
Well, there you go. That's another shutdown. Not a government shutdown, just a shutdown period. But we have enjoyed it. It's been a great show. We appreciate all of you out there watching and listening every single Saturday. We'll be back with you next Saturday. For Randy Lee, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. See you next time.
even the best of us forget sometimes. But buckling up is one thing you always want to remember.
Seatbelts save lives. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Lake Area Realty is Lake Martin's Century 21 real estate company that proudly serves all the Lake Martin area. Rhonda Gaskin and her staff of caring professional realtors offers full sales for buyers and sellers in the area and can even help you with finding rentals or managing your current property. Whether it's your dream lake home, waterfront property, area family home in town, or just a starter home, Lake Area Realty can handle it all and advise you on all your needs. Buying and selling real estate is important.